Ever wonder how your body tells friend from foe? It's not just chaos down there. It's this incredibly sophisticated intelligence operation. In this explainer, we're going to go undercover to see exactly how your immune system's agents gather intel on invaders and present their findings to launch a perfectly coordinated defense.
So here's our briefing for today. We'll start by setting the scene, defining the battlefield. Then, we'll meet the intelligence agents on the ground. After that, we'll see how they build a case and present their evidence, how they get the green light from the top, and finally, we'll witness the incredible coordinated defense that kicks into gear.
All right, first up, every good spy story needs a setting, right? Well, in our case, the country we're trying to protect is probably the most complex one on Earth, your own body.
Just imagine your body is this bustling, sprawling nation. It's got cities, it's got citizens, it's got borders, and just like any other nation, it's constantly under threat. You've got these external invaders trying to storm the gates, and sometimes you even have traitors, rogue cells, popping up from within.
Now, in the world of immunology, we basically split these threats into two main categories. Over on the left, we have what are called exogenous antigens. Think of these as the foreign invaders from outside, things like bacteria, fungi, or toxins. And then on the right, you have the endogenous antigens. These are the inside jobs, the threats that come from within our own country, like when one of our own cells gets infected by a virus or goes rogue and becomes a tumor cell.
So, we've got all these threats. Who are the first responders? Who's on the scene? Well, let's meet the intelligence agencies of the immune system, the antigen-presenting cells.
These guys are the antigen-presenting cells, or APCs for short. And honestly, their name tells you exactly what they do. They're the field agents. Their whole mission is to find threats, gather up the evidence, which are the antigens, and then present a full report to the military command, which in this case are the T cells.
And this intelligence network has its specialists for sure. You've got dendritic cells. They're like the elite top-tier operatives, always surveying the borders. And then you have macrophages. Think of them as the local patrol police, keeping the tissue safe and cleaning up crime scenes. And finally, B lymphocytes, who are like these highly specialized analysts, absolute experts at identifying very, very specific threats.
Okay, so one of our agents has caught a suspect. What happens next? Well, they can't just run up to headquarters shouting "invader." They have to process the evidence they've collected and present it in a very specific, very standardized way so that High Command actually understands the report.
And this is where something called the major histocompatibility complex, or MHC molecules, are absolutely essential. Think of MHCs as the official government-issued display case for evidence. The T cells are trained from day one to only pay attention to antigens when they are presented on these specific MHC molecules. It's a critical security protocol.
What's really smart is that the type of threat completely changes the reporting protocol. So for those external threats, the evidence gets presented on MHC class II molecules. This report goes straight to the helper T cells, who are the generals that coordinate the big picture response. But for internal threats, it's different. That evidence gets displayed on MHC class I molecules, right on the surface of the compromised cell itself. This basically acts as a direct kill-me signal to the special ops of the immune system, the cytotoxic T cells.
Now, an agent showing up with a piece of evidence, that's a really big deal. To prevent a massive mistake, like, say, accidentally attacking one of our own healthy cells, the whole system demands this really rigorous multi-step verification process before it'll even think about launching a counterattack.
So, what does it take to actually get the green light? I mean, how do you convince a general to mobilize the entire army based on what one field agent found? It's going to take more than just one signal, that's for sure. This security protocol is amazing. It requires 3 separate signals. Signal 1 is the initial introduction, the handshake. That's the MHC antigen complex linking up with the T cell receptor. But that's not enough on its own. Next comes signal 2, which is like a confirmation code, a second handshake that proves this is a real threat. Then, and only then, with both of those confirmed, the APC delivers signal 3, the final activation order. This comes in the form of chemical messengers called cytokines, giving the T cell the final go-ahead to act. So with all 3 signals confirmed, the general, our helper T cell, is fully activated and ready to go. Now it's time to shift from intelligence gathering to full-on military strategy and coordinate a really powerful, targeted response. Now, this is a crucial point. Helper T cells don't usually get their own hands dirty in combat. Their role is much more strategic. They're the battlefield commanders. They interpret the intelligence from the field and then direct the right defense forces to go and neutralize that specific threat. So the general can deploy one of two main strategies. For those internal threats, it'll kick off a Th1 response, which is all about cell-mediated immunity. This calls in the special forces, the cytotoxic T cells, to go in and eliminate infected cells one by one. But for external threats, it launches a Th2 response. This is more about antibody-mediated immunity. It activates the B cells, which are like the Air Force, to start pumping out antibodies. These are like targeted missiles that can neutralize pathogens floating around in the body. And finally, after the battle is won and the threat is gone, the story isn't quite over. Some of those activated T cells will turn into memory T cells. These guys form the nation's intelligence archives, basically keeping a long-term file on that threat. So if that same invader ever dares to show up again, this immune memory allows for a way faster, way more powerful response. And that right there is the whole principle behind how vaccines work.
So from that very first detection by a field agent to the final command decisions from the generals, this whole incredible process hinges on one core idea. Antigen presentation truly is the foundation of adaptive immunity. This careful, meticulous system of presenting evidence is what makes our immune response so intelligent, so adaptive, and so incredibly powerful. It's not just a defense force, it's a world-class intelligence agency.